You're fighting a, wait. Let's say you're fighting a habit. You're fighting a habit. You are. You have some sexual decency in you that's not, it's not danger to others, but it's danger to yourself, where you have a lust demon. I'll use that. Let's say you have a lust demon or a lust habit. I'll put it like that. If you got a lust habit that you have because you somewhere along the line did something that caused this habit to grow, and now it's growing, and now you can't get rid of it. See, those habits don't start out of the clear blue sky.
No,
Those
they don't.
habits start with you doing something, then you start feeding upon it, and as you feed that habit, the habit gets bigger and bigger, and before you know it, you got a full-blown habit that you can control. But you know how to act in society. But at the same time, the habit's there. So I've seen good men in church. That one guy, the church was going on. This lady was she was sitting down somewhere. She got up and got out the seat to go to the bathroom. When she got out the seat, she had a black dress on. It was tight, and she had the shape to go with it. I'm just saying. She knew what she was doing. She had a shape that goes with it. And she knew she had that booty popping out there. She knew that. And there's a man that's dedicated to his wife. I mean, you watch him. He said, look at him. And she got out the bleachers like this. And then that deacon went, hey, love, oh, with you. Hey, where you go? Ooh-wee. Then he turned back. But see, I'm just saying. See, I'm just saying. Now, look. If God just so happens to give you a nice figure, and believe me, everybody ain't got one, believe that. If God does that for you, it's not to put on display
or advertise
to other men.
Right.
That's supposed to be saved for your husband.
Right. Only.
Now, but you gotta understand this. A woman has at least 5 mirrors in the bedroom, bathroom. Believe that. And when she dresses, and she knows she got it going on, she and not only you got some in the auditorium, you got some in the choir stand. So if you got it going on, you want to show that off. Even if it's wrong, you still want. Look, you gotta know how to manipulate God. Even though you're not doing it, you gotta. The mental thing. If I can manipulate God, so I don't get called out, I'm good. So how do you do it? You show your shape off because God gave it to you, and you go on the pulpit and you sing, and you make sure they see that shape. And the young men out there are looking.
Oh, they lusting.
The old men lusting.
They're definitely lusting.
You
Old and young.
You putting it out there. And the pastor, he might glance at it, but he ain't gonna stare too long because he get caught, see. Men are staring. Now, what Satan doing is Satan got what you call some holes. You got some holes, some street holes. And what Satan doing, he's telling the women that are in church, these are in church women, members, that got them shapes. And some of them go get BBLs. And see, some of the women in church will go get a BBL, and once her body heals up and all that, oh, she come back to church. Oh, she coming back, because she gonna show what she got. Look what I got. Now you got the other woman mad at you, because you wouldn't got something they ain't got, but they okay, but you are outstanding. Your butt is big as a table, and your butt is big as a table or a trash can.
Big as a table.
You got a butt way out here, and the hips way out here, and way out here. It don't even match. And then you got thin waistline because you had the operation. They cut the fat off your waist, and they put that also on you. So you got thin waistline with a humongous butt, and you walk in church and you jingle, 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 jingle. All men gonna look. They gonna look just to be looking, you know. And they know that. Now, the women, they're not saying, I want to give you some. They just want you to validate them. I need to be validated. I'm in the choir. I need somebody to validate me. I need men to look at me. So when and don't be stupid here. Women know when they look better than the other women in the choir stand. They just don't say it.
Right.
But women know when they got it going on in the choir stand. And the women that don't got on, the women that don't got going on, I'm gonna say some of the women in the choir stand are either average or just not they're just not sexy. They're just not. They're just average women. Okay? So they don't do that. Because how can you do it? You can't. Understand? Okay? So I don't have long hair. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I just ain't got it. Ain't nothing happening. I just hit. I'm hit. So it's just the way it is. You gotta live with it. So the ones that got it going on, Satan tells them, look, you need to look the best you can. And you're going on TV, people gonna see you nationwide singing in the choir. You need to look your best. Satan said, that's the dress right there, red dress right there. Put on them red lips, put on them Julie Rouge. You know what you got going on. So you get ready, you go to church, you get the eyelashes, biggest fan.
Are you talking about fans?
The fan blinking off and on, you know. You doing all that, you know what I'm saying? So you go to church in the choir stand, you're singing, and when the women sing the choir stand, they move around. The Lord is good. He is good to me. He is good to me. Good to me. I take the Lord with you everywhere you go. Take the Lord with you everywhere you go. And you know the guys out there looking, man. Come on, man.
You know, they just lusting back.
Then you got the woman that's out there in the audience. They got the BBLs. If they ain't got the BBLs, they shape nice. They know it. So they got the dress on. And look, the guy right behind him, he got problems. He has lust problems. So you shaking. He right behind you getting an eye full. His mind is all over you. Ain't no God no more. Who God? I don't know who God. I don't know who God is. I know I want that right there. I can't have it. I know I like that. It's just the way it is. So the churches have become entertainment centers. And the last thing you want to hear,
fashion, entertainment,
check out churches.
showing out.
When you go to church, the last thing you want to hear is the word. That's why the music lasts so long. When they play choir songs, check how long those choir songs last. They milk it as long as they can. Then they'll shout for about an hour. By that time, you can barely preach or teach the word of God. Because the word of God is not important. What they're doing now, they're basically saying, look, it's getting to the point where the Bible is not necessary. Now, here's why. Because people attention span
are short.
Short. So if you teach the Bible now, people don't want to hear it. Just give me a small book or give me a verse. They call it daily bread.
The daily reading.
Daily reading, daily bread, what you call it. They'll tell you this. I want you to read a verse a day. But you don't do that. What you do? You read a verse a month. Because you don't want to read that. So you wait on Sunday, and what happens is to a lot of people is this. When Sunday comes, there are young men that want to be ministers. I met a lot of them. They want to be ministers. I met them, talk to them. They don't study the Word of God. They study the pastor. So whatever the pastor says, they'll take that and use it in their repertoire, in their preaching. They'll use that. They won't study the Bible themselves, but they'll study what the pastor says. So they'll listen on him, And whatever he says, they'll take that and store it in memory. But they'll lose half of it on the way home, if not most of it. But they'll take weeks, months, and a year, 2 years, to hear the word of God from the pastor when he's preaching it. Then what they'll do is they'll ask the pastor, can they be a minister? And the pastor say, did God call you? And of course they'll lie about that. They say, yeah, God called me. You know, God. And then you got to look at the motive. Why you want to be a minister? What's in it for you? And they don't ask that, but they should. They should ask that, what's in it for you? And I know a guy that he died, he got shot, but he was a minister. And I hung around him sometimes. I did jobs with him, and I noticed that he was using his ministry as as power to control people and tell them what to do and how to do it. And he was doing that. He would go to church and start commanding people to do things. Wow. And people would kiss his ring and kiss up to him and bow down to him. And he ate that up. See, that's why he became a minister. Not before the word of God, but to have that name. And people would suck up to him. Now, when he get mad, it cuss you out.
Was that someone you knew?
What's the name?
We ain't calling no names out.
What he did? And what's the name? Akron, Ohio. And he died. He got shot.
You talking about Eric?
Yep. He got shot because he was a dope man at one time.
Right.
He was a dope man. He got his eye shot out being a dope man. Then he came to Christ. Now when he came to Christ, good. He came to Christ. Okay. Then he said, okay, coming to Christ is not good enough. I want to be a minister. Okay, nothing wrong with that too. If God called you, if God called you. So God didn't call him, but he wanted to be a minister so bad, he started listening to the pastor, listening to the sermon, and listening to how the preacher preached. And I had guys that asked me this question. I want to be a minister. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. The Lord said, you don't hear me. All that. I said, what you doing? How to sound, man? How it sound? See? So they're not in it to help people. They're in it for their own glory. I mean, it just is. I also had a friend that died that told me this. He said, I called him a name. I called him his name. I did. I said, hey, man, how you doing? But I called his name, though. He said, whoa, wait a minute. I'm a doctor now. I said, what? He said, I'm a doctor now. My name is Dr. Ford, and you better call me in. I went, wait, you were just my best friend. We was young, and you were my best friend when we got older, but I haven't seen you in a couple of years. All of a sudden, you wrote to a company. You can do that, and you can get a doctorate degree if you submit a letter telling what you've been through in your life. It's called life experience.
Got you. Okay.
And if you get the right amount of money, they will send you your doctorate, not doctorate degrees, they're different. A doctorate. So there's some churches that allow you to get a doctorate. What that means, you are good in something that you know about. You're not a doctor, it's a doctorate. But a lot of churches, pastors are giving everybody a doctorate. And the ones they're giving a doctorate, a lot of them can't preach at all. But because they went to this whole sorry school and got a couple credits, and they give them a certificate of a doctorate, they lose their minds. I am somebody now. Don't call me this, don't call me Dr. Ford. What happened to your name? My name is a new name. I'm a doctor. You know. So
nose all up in the air.
You change from being humble to arrogant. So if I'm correct according to the Bible, there's a good chance they're gonna make it to heaven. According to the Bible. Okay. Now, I'm not sure anybody know about judging, but there's a lot about judging you may or may not know. I can teach you that too. So we're going to try to go live very shortly. And that's it for right now. See you guys next time. Be good. Be safe.